Hello, it's Paul Jackwitz from ProFootballZone.com. Um, I shared a video, put a video on here in the channel of how PFZ got started. If you didn't see it, check it out. But it's funny, when I started Pro Football Zone, I had to come up with a name, and I knew I wanted Pro Football in the title for SEO purposes, search engine optimization. Excuse me, I need some water. Excuse me, I haven't been drinking enough water lately, but search engine optimization, which helps Google and Bing and all those find your stuff, or people just searching find your stuff easier. And it's smart if you're doing a football website to put the word football in there. I've seen sites with gridiron in it or pigskin. Those that's fine, but I wouldn't do it. Just because think about how many people actually search for pigskin or gridiron. Probably not many. People are searching for football, especially if they want pro football, they'll do pro football or college football. Obviously, pro football zone probably wouldn't come under college football search engine, unless I write about something and tag it as college football, might help. But your site, URL, your domain, which is the URL, should have your main topic in it. If you're a photographer, photography should be um, in your title. I have a friend who's actually a photographer. Steve, his website is stevecanningphotography.com. Giving him a plug and also an example. Steve Canning and his last name Canning photography.com. Perfect, right there. Photography is in your domain. It helps people find you, especially if they're looking for him. Say they want Steve Canning photography, they can find him. If you fix computers, of course my name is Paul. Paul's Computer Depot or something. I don't know. Paul Computer Doctor. Something like that. I have no idea. I'd have to actually really think about that. But actually, my dad helped me come up with mine. I knew pro football I wanted, and he helped me come up with the zone part. To be honest, I'm not good. I'm not good at new ideas. To be honest, I'm just not. So I'm always trying to think outside the box. That's not my strength. But so domain name, coming up with one. You want something that relates to your topic, your main topic. Of course, pro football zone being pro football. So whatever it is, it needs to relate to it. And domains only cost $10 each. It's very cheap to start a website. I see people start them on Blogger and stuff. I'll talk about hosting, I guess, too in this blog or this vlog. Um, People they start on Blogger, Google. It's free. But technically, they don't tell you this, but Google actually owns your content. Like they could shut down your website and pretty much just wipe it out if they want to because you're using their thing. You're not paying for you're not paying for hosting. Because if you start your own website, your own domain, you got to pay for hosting. A hosting site actually puts your site on a server so it can go online. The server pretty much like a hard drive that serves the internet and whatnot. But that gives it an IP address and all that. It enables it to be assigned an IP address and all that. So I think that's right. Pretty much that's. I don't know all the technicalities of it, but that's pretty much it. Puts your site on the internet for the most part. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So if you go with Google Blogger, they actually it's on their Google, I guess their Google servers, and they actually own your stuff. So if people complain about your site for whatever reason, they can actually shut it down, and I believe you could lose your content. I've heard that. So I had Google Blogger when I started because it was free. I know people think, oh, free, it's easy, nothing, but I wouldn't start with that. Plus, Blogger, you don't have the same kind of flexibility, the same kind of customizations that you can make with WordPress. Sorry, I thought my kids were there. That you can have with WordPress. Um, WordPress, there's plugins, and like I've said before, I don't know if I said on PFZ or the other videos I did, but with WordPress, there's plugins. There's all kinds of flexibility. CNN uses WordPress. NFL.com uses WordPress. NFL teams use WordPress. Every major company pretty much uses WordPress. Now their main website probably isn't WordPress, but their blogs on their websites are WordPress. Some teams, I think the Arizona Cardinals, theirs actually you'll see the little WordPress logo in the browser or the URL bar or whatever, and that's how you know it's also WordPress. But yeah, it's the best. It's very you can customize things. It's very good. But you want to figure out hosting, of course. Like I said, anyway, a domain name I was saying costs $10 a year, and then you got to pay for hosting. Hosting is very cheap to start a site. When I started, I was paying $5 a month with HostGator, Bluehost, StreamHost, GoDaddy. are all hosting companies. I don't recommend them just for the fact that they host all kinds of different sites, whether it's WordPress or whatever else other blogging or WordPress software there is out there. Honestly, I don't know all of them because I only know WordPress, and that's it. WordPress is the most popular. It's the easiest, most flexible. It's the best out there. So I use a site called WebSynthesis.com. It's a small hosting company, um, and they specialize in WordPress, and they know what they're talking about. I had a serious issue actually with my site last year. Actually, I lost everything. The site got wiped out, and thank God I was backing the site up, which is very smart. Always back your site up, have backups or whatnot. And I was able to regain everything, but I lost everything. I called up HostGator. I had them at the time, and they're like, "Well, we can't help you." I was like, "What?" You know? And I figured it out, and I was able to get the site back online. Thank goodness. Thanks to googling stuff and searching online, I was able to get it back up. But Web Synthesis, they could help me with that. They're very good. They specialize in WordPress, making your site fast, making it just do well online and make sure everything is secure. They're very good with security. HostGator was just like, oh, don't worry, everything's fine. But your security is fine. But then I talked to Web Synthesis. They were like, well, you shouldn't have any plugins that aren't being used. Shouldn't have any themes that aren't being used. Those are all security hacks. So they're very uptight about security, which is good. I mean, you can never be too secure with the internet, especially. So I would recommend Web Synthesis, Web WEB Synthesis SYNTHESIS.com, and they you might pay $20 a month. If you go with like Bluehost and all those, you're paying maybe $5 a month. I mean, you could start out with them. They're not terrible, but I definitely don't recommend GoDaddy. Bluehost and DreamHost and maybe HostGator. I would try Bluehost or DreamHost. They're pretty good. But HostGator, I'm not too. I don't even know people that have had HostGator or have HostGator now and can't stand it. And then GoDaddy, they have a ton of outages and stuff. So that's what I recommend. Um, Hope you guys. Hopefully this was insightful, and we'll give you an idea of how to start a site. And I'll keep doing more of these videos. Thanks.